Good morning and welcome back to the mat. Bring your hands together, close your eyes, turn your attention inwards and bring your awareness to your breath. Take 3 long slow breaths in and out. And as usual, we open with 3 ohms. Exhale, inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Open your eyes, release your hands. Word of the day is non-attachment. So while preparing for this video yesterday or the day before, I had bought a new camera, a new camcorder, just a cheap little one, and recorded, as usual, my little film and so on, and was quite excited because it seemed to me to have been the best effort so far. This has been quite a learning curve, and so did the practice, recorded it, brought it over to my computer and downloaded it and did all the editing. And then as I went to save it to my computer, so this was sort of 4 or 5 hours later, I noticed that it popped up a little message that was still on the camera, and I had forgotten to download it completely, or I had interrupted the download at some stage, so half was still on the camera and half was on my computer. I ended up with 6 minutes of video out of an hour. I had started that morning at 7 o'clock, and at sort of 25 to 6 that evening I got up and left my office in disgust, having a mere 6 minutes of video for my whole day's work. So what's this got to do attached to the outcome? So yeah, we all have things that we're attached to, and that's our rather uncertain future, particularly at the moment. So I had to let go, right? I had to let go that I wasn't going to have a video for that day, and this was the arena that I got to be in at that moment. So at the minute, all of us collectively in these troubled times have an arena that we get to be in. That is not what we would necessarily choose. It may be for some people, but it's not for most people. And how are we going to be in that? How are we going to remain unattached to the outcome of whatever life shows up for us today? So bringing that into our practice and in our life, you may need a couple of blocks. And if you haven't got blocks, it's perfectly okay to use a couple of books that do the same thing. So there's a block there. And so something along those lines. Or you may not, you don't have to use a block. You might also use a strap if it's available for you. Okay, without any more to do, let's get into down dog. Place your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Turn your toes up, under. Inhale and lift your hips up. Float your hips up. So it's the first down dog of the day, and you're maybe feeling a little bit stiff. So grip the floor with your fingertips. Lift your hips up even higher. Invite your heels to come to the floor. Feet inner hip width apart. More doable. More difficult, bring them together. And look at a point between your thumbs. And then float forward into plank. Lift your head, look up. Engage your core. Squeeze your heels together, your inner thighs. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Bring your attention to your breath. lower all the way to the floor. Knees, chest, chin, and coming down into locust, full locust, arms by your sides, turn your palms up. Squeeze your heels together. Inhale, lift your legs off the floor, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Lift your arms up as high as you can. Turn your thumbs up. Bring your arms, hands closer together. Move your ears back. And release. Bring the side of your face to the floor and just rest. Place your arms in cobra arms, so this is halfway down the sides of your ribs. Turn your toes under and move into down dog. Lift your hips up. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Externally rotate your upper arms. Lift your hips even higher. Just feeling how good that feels for you this morning. Melt your heart. Walk your hands to your feet and come and stand up. Walk to the back of your mat. Hands by your side. Root down evenly with the four corners of your feet into the floor. Squeeze your shins in. Squeeze your inner thighs. Press your tailbone down. Engage your core. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Move your ears back. Close your eyes, turn your attention inwards. Moving into high lunge, place your hands on your hips and step forward with attitude and intention with your right foot. Lift your back heel off the floor. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Lift your gaze, look up. And pivot all the way around to the back of the mat. Lift your back heel off the floor. Lift your gaze, look up. Lift the back of your back knee up. From here, lower into down dog. Hands either side of front foot. Step your left foot back. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Melt your heart. Turn your sit bones up and focus on a point between your thumbs. Bring your attention to your breath. Walk your hands back to your feet, standing at the back of your mat. Lift your arms up overhead, hands shoulder width apart. Step forward again, big step forward. Bend your front knee, sink down. Lift the back of your back knee up. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel, look up. Release your arms down and switch to the other end of the mat. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Lift your back heel off the floor. Lift your arms up. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel, look up. And release your arms down and lower to down dog. Melt your heart. Lower gently to the floor, come onto your knees and lower all the way down onto your belly. Stretch your arms out in front of you. Coming into Topsy-Turvy Superhero. Lift your right arm, hand off the floor. Lift the opposite leg off the floor. Press the top of the right foot into the floor, lift your knee off the floor. Come onto the edge of the left hand and lift it off the floor. Lift your left elbow off the floor. Gaze straight ahead. And switch to the other side. And release. Place your hands under your shoulders, turn your toes under, move into down dog. From here, step your right foot forward, pivot your back heel so that the sole of your foot is on the floor and your toes are turned out. And then inhale, press down, stand up, clasp your hands behind your back, line up the front heel with the middle of the back arch of your back foot. Lift your chest, stretch your spine, bend your right knee, sink down, and then hinge forward. Bring your upper body to the inside of your front foot. Lift your arms off your back. Allow your head to drop. Inhale and make your way back up and pivot your feet. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Lift your chest, stretch your spine, bend your front knee, sink down. Hinge forward, bring your upper body to the inside of your front leg, lift your arms off your back. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor, allow your head to drop. And press down and stand up, straighten your front knee, turn your left foot in. Moving into Warrior Two, turn your right foot out. Line up your front heel again, just check your foundation, lift your arms up, bend your right knee, sink down, look out over your right hand arm, press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor, move your front knee out, sink down even more. Inhale, press down, stand up, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Lift your arms, bend your front knee, sink down, look out over your left hand arm. And press down, stand up, turn your left foot in, turn your right foot out, and we're moving into half moon. So moving to the middle of your mat. You might like to use a block or not. I'm using a block this morning, and place it toward the right hand corner of your mat. Lift your right arm up, step forward with your right leg, bend your right knee, lean forward, place your hand on the block, lift your back leg out behind you. Turn the outside edge of your back foot up towards the ceiling, lift your left arm up. Press down with your right foot into the floor, engage the quad. and release, and switch to the other side. Place your right hand on your hip, lift your left arm up, step forward with your left foot, lean forward, place your left hand on the block, lift your right leg out behind you, lift your top arm up. Look straight ahead. And release down. From here, moving into reverse warrior, step your feet wide apart, turn your right foot out, bend your front knee, slide your back hand down your back leg, lift your right arm up, look up towards your palm, sink down, move your front knee out in line with the root of your second toe. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor, draw your right hip underneath. Inhale, come back up and switch to the other side. Pivot your right foot in, pivot your left foot out, bend your left knee, slide your back hand down your back leg, lift your left arm up, look up towards your palm. Inhale and make your way back up. Straighten your front knee, turn your left foot in, which leaves us perfectly placed for wide leg forward fold. Inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale and hinge forward and place your hands on the floor, lift your head, look up. This may be as far as you go today. Press the outside edges of your feet into the floor, squeeze your shins in, squeeze your thighs. Stay here. Or to add a little bit more spice to it, walk your hands back, perhaps make your legs a little bit wider, float your hips forward and hinge forward and bring your head towards the floor. Walk your hands back so that your fingernails are in line with your toenails. Inhale, press down, walk your hands forward and either step or jump your feet together and stand up. Moving into standing sage, place your left hand on your hip. Lift your right knee up and clasp the big toe with the first two fingers. And again, this could be as far as you would like to go, or stretch your leg out in front. Stay here, more doable. More difficult, lift it out to the side. And then release your left arm and stretch it out in line with your right shoulder. And keeping all that, look over your left hand arm. And release. And switch over onto the other side. You might want to move from one foot to the other just to loosen up your hips a wee bit. And shifting your weight onto your left foot, place your right hand on your right hip. Bend your left knee and clasp the big toe with the first two fingers of your left hand. And again, just stay here and practice the balance. Inhale, stretch your leg out in front of you or move it out to the side. Lift your arm up, look out over your right hand arm. Make your way back to center. Lower your leg and place it back on the floor. Moving into levitating sage, shift your weight onto your left foot, lift your right leg high, stretch your right foot out in front of you. Be as upright as possible, endeavouring not to lean back. And release, and switch to the other side. Lift your left knee up, stretch it out in front, flex and point it, look up. And release. And for the last of our big standing poses, we'll move into Warrior 3. So walk to the back of your mat. Lift your arms up overhead, clasp your hands together, point your index fingers. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your front knee, lean forward, lift your back leg off the floor. Straighten, strengthen the standing leg. Point your back knee at the floor. Gaze straight ahead. Inhale and come back up to center. Place both feet on the floor. Bring your awareness to your breath. Just feel the sensations of your heart pumping, your blood moving around your body. And moving over to the other side, walk to the back of your mat. Lift your arms up overhead. Step forward with your left foot. Bend your left knee. Lean forward. Simultaneously lift your back leg up behind you. Flex and point it. Gaze straight ahead. And gently release. Moving into eagle pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Lift your right leg and wrap it around the front of the left. Lift the left arm and wrap the right underneath. Hug the midline. If this is not available for your arms, you can simply bring your elbows together, like so. If you're doing it like that, lift your elbows up. If you have your arms crossed, squeeze your elbows into your chest into your spine. Look at a point straight ahead that's not moving. Hug the midline. Inhale, press down, stand up. Moving into eagle on the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot and wrap the left leg around the right. Lift the right arm and wrap the left underneath. Hug the midline. Press down, stand up. Moving into Utkatasana, power pose. Lift your arms overhead, hands shoulder width apart, palms pointing towards each other. Bend your knees, sink down, gaze straight ahead. And release. Walk to the back of your mats, move into twisted monkey. Step your right foot forward, lower your hands to the floor either side of your front foot. Moving into monkey lunge, quad stretch. Bend your back knee, reach your left hand back to clasp your left foot. Bring your torso upright, place your hand on your hip or place your hand on your front thigh, and then move your hips forward and down. Invite your left heel to come as close into your hip as you can. Lift your gaze, stretch from your hips to under your armpits, broaden across your collarbones. and release, and switch to the other side. Lower your hands, move your right foot back, move your left foot forward. Lift your hands off the floor, torso upright. Place your left hand on top of your left knee. Bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand. Bring your heel as close to your hip as you can. Then move your hips forward and down. Lift your chest, look up. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Broaden across your collarbones. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. From here, moving into twisted monkey. Switch legs again. Left knee back, right foot forward. And then pivot your back ankle towards your right hand and clasp your ankle. Move your left hand out to the side. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. Invite your heel into your hip. Allow your head to drop, look up. And switch again to the other side. Right foot back, left foot forward. Pivot your knee so your right foot comes towards your left hand. Grab your right ankle with your left hand. Place your right hand more towards the side of the mat. Move your hips forward and down. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. And release. Down dog. Moving to bound side angle. Step your right foot forward. Pivot your back foot so the whole of your foot comes onto the floor. Set up your foundation. The toes of your front foot are pointing towards the short end of your mat. The toes of your back foot are pointing towards the long end of your mat. Both hands are on the floor of the inside of your front foot. Hands sort of shoulder width apart. Then lift your left arm and bring it across your back. Lift your right hand between your legs and clasp your left hand behind your back. Roll your left shoulders back, your left ribs back. Lift your head, look up. Press down with the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Engage your quad. Release your hands to the floor and switch ends. Straighten your right knee, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Bend your left knee, lower your hands to the floor. Lift your right arm and bring it across your back. Lift your left arm, bring it between your legs. Press your right foot into the floor. Roll your right shoulder back, your right ribs back. Lift your head, look up. Engage your quad in the outstretched leg. Release your hands, straighten your front knee and make your way to standing. Step your feet together, come into Tandasana, close your eyes, turn in. Move now to one hand arm pose, come and sit down. Stretch your right leg out in front of you. Lift your left foot off the floor, clasp your foot, draw your knee back, knee in line with ankle, shin parallel to the ceiling. Holding your left foot with your right hand, lift your left arm up. Place it between your legs and hook your leg over your upper arm. And keep that and lean forward and either lift your whole leg off the floor, like so, or keep your heel on the floor and lift your hips off the floor, or lean back and lift your right leg off the floor. So yogi's choice for you this morning. And release. And switch to the other side. Bend your right knee, clasp your right foot with both hands, and draw your knee back under your arm. Be as upright as possible. Press your sit bones into the floor. Clasping your right foot with the opposite hand, lift your right arm hand up, place it between your legs, and move it out so that you can drape your right leg over your right arm. And keep that and inhale and lift off. And release. And moving into cosmic abs, bend your knees, shift your weight onto your right hip, and start to bicycle your knees up and down and your arms out to the left. So really moving your upper shoulders like you're a belly dancer, and really moving your knees forward and back, keeping your knees and legs quite close together, and do 5 on one side, and switch over onto the other hip, and do 5 on the other side. Side bicycle. And release. Come and make your way to standing. Moving into Crescent Triceps. Place your feet inner hip width apart. Lift your left arm up by your ear. Clasp your left triceps with your right hand. Move your hips to the left, your torso to the right. Be as sideways as possible. Lift your chin, look up. Stretch from your hips to under your armpits, particularly on the side that you're leaning into. Press your left foot into the floor. Press both feet equally. Inhale, come back up to center and switch arms. Inhale, come back up and release your arms to your sides. Moving to upward bow. Come and lie down on your backs. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. If you have a block, you can try this. It's an easy way to get into it. So we'll come into bridge pose first. Bend your knees, lift your hips up, clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, feet hip width apart. Make sure your toes are not pointing out to the long edges of your mat. Lift your hips up, press your head into the floor, stretch your knuckles towards your heels. This may be as far as you want to go today, or you can grab a block and pop it in underneath your hips so that you can relax here. And then for those who want to try and come into upward bow, this is a nice place to launch yourself from. So place your hands under your shoulders, turn your fingers back towards your feet, walk your heels of your feet towards each other. Inhale, press down and soar your hips up. Allow your head to drop, walk your feet in. Be careful if you're using a block and you lower down, just move the block out to the side, come onto the back of your head and gently walk your feet forward, stretch your legs out, arms out, turn your palms up, close your eyes, turn in. From here we move to gatekeeper. Kneeling up, feet hip width apart. I'm going to take my glasses off because they're steaming up. Stretch your right leg out to the side, point your toes towards the short end of your mat. Place your right hand on the floor just in front of your right knee, so your right elbow is touching your knee, or place your hands on a block. Lift your left arm up and bring your arm over your left ear. Look up at your palm of your hand. Press your toes towards the floor. Roll your left hip back, your left ribs back. Inhale, come back up to center and switch to the other side. Stretch your left leg out. Point your toes towards the short end of the mat. Place your block. Place your hand on the block. You don't have to use a block. You can put your hand on the floor. Lift your right arm up and point your palm towards the floor. Look up. Point your toes to the floor. Inhale and come back to center. I'm moving into Sage 1. Stretch your right leg out. Bend your left knee. Bring your heel towards your left hip. Place your right hand on the floor. Lift your left arm up. Lean forward. Turn your thumb down and bring your left hand arm around the back of your body. Then lift your right arm out to the side and see if you can clasp both hands behind your back. You may need to use a strap here to do this. Stretch forward and then hinging, sinking down. Inhale, stretch forward, exhale, sinking down. Inhale, come back up to center and switch to the other side. Stretch your left leg out, bend your right knee, lift your right arm up, lean forward, turn your thumb down and bring your arm all the way around the back of your body. Lift your left arm way out to the side and clasp both hands behind your back. Lift your chest, stretch your spine and hinging forward again. Inhale, come back to center. Moving into staff pose. Place your hands beside your hips. Press the heel of your hands into the floor. Stretch your spine up. Broaden across your collarbones. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Push through your heels. Move your ears back. Keep stretching the crown of your head up into the universe as you root down into the earth with your sit bones. And release. And we'll move into west stretch. Feet hip width apart, more doable, more difficult, keep them together. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhaling, hinging forward. Reach for your legs, your shins, your ankles, your heels, or simply use a strap. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, sinking down. Keep gazing beyond your toes. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, sinking down. Keep squeezing your thighs, your inner shins towards each other. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, sinking down. Melting your heart. And making your way out of that back to sitting. Move into reclined child's pose. Come and lie on your back, bring both knees into your chest, and give yourself the most deserving, delicious, kindly hug. And love yourself as you bring your knees ever closer, rolling a little bit from side to side. And then prepare for relaxation. So fetch your blanket if you have one. Place an eye bag over your eyes. Stretch your arms, your legs out, and let go. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring your awareness back into your body and onto the mat. Gently start to awaken your body by moving your hands, your feet, perhaps giving yourself a stretch. And then bend your knees, roll into one side, make your way up to sitting. Bring your hands together, close your eyes one last time. To honor ourselves, each other, and the practice, we close with one Om. Exhale, inhale. Om. And bring your awareness to your breath. Take 3 long, slow breaths in and out. And as usual, we open with 3